British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, I'm Gina Tang, and this is your news updates to 11 a.m. Human rights advocate Ethel Kennedy has passed away at 96. She advocated for many causes. This includes demonstrating for farm workers in Florida and joining a hunger strike against President Trump's immigration policies. Kennedy had lost her husband, reporter Robert F. Kennedy, to an assassination while running for president in 1968. Reporter Jonathan Carl has more on who Kennedy was and her contributions.
Ethel Kennedy's life was marked by a tireless dedication to service, resilience, and tragedy. She was part of America's most powerful political dynasty. Ethel forged a relentless path on her own as a human rights advocate, fighting against poverty with leaders like Coretta Scott King, and championing the work of those standing up for human rights around the world. She was born Ethel Skakel in 1928 in Chicago, Illinois, the daughter of a former railroad clerk who gained his fortune building his own company.
At least 5 people dead as Milton knocked out power to millions and spawned 150 tornadoes. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says Hurricane Milton was a significant storm, but, quote, not the worst case scenario. DeSantis says there are still reports of heavy damage and destruction throughout the region.
The storm did bring much destruction and damage. Tornadoes ravaged parts of the east coast of the state. Flooding occurred on the west and east coast, and strong winds lashed the state, especially in Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, and Sarasota counties.
Among the impacts was the construction crane that came crashing down on the building that houses the Tampa Bay Times. No injuries were reported. This so happens to have came during the peak of Hurricane Milton. Now on to the latest in the Middle East. Children and 7 women were among the 27 killed as Israeli strike hit a school sheltering the displaced in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian official says Israel continues to fire at what he says, quote, militant targets across Gaza. Wildlife Group is offering a $1,000 reward for information on the arrest and conviction of those responsible for killing 2 black bears who had their paws removed. The BC Conservation Officer Services says it is investigating after the bodies were found floating on the Harrison River in Chilliwack. The executive director for the Wildlife Group, the Fur Bearers, is asking people who have information such as security or trail camera footage to contact investigators with the Conservation Service. South Korean poet and novelist Hong Kong was honored for her, quote, poetic and unsettling body of work. This comes as an unexpected moment that stoked national pride about the country's growing cultural influence. Karen Shamaz has more on Kong's poems.
For her intense poetic prose that confronts historical traumas and exposes the fragility of human life.
Nobel Committee Chairman Anders Olsen praised Han's physical empathy for the vulnerable, often female lives of her characters. Han becomes the first South Korean writer to win the Nobel Literature Prize.
Experts say there are things parents can do to help their teens navigate Canada's increasingly difficult youth labor market. Toronto's Yes Youth Employment Services Timothy Lang says parents need to let their children take the lead when it comes to job searching. Lang says resume writing or interviewing are areas where parents can come in, as many young people starting out have no experience.
And this is where parents can help a bit. Sometimes the young people don't want this help, but have them practice interviewing with either the parent or someone so they can just get used to it.
On to weather. A considerable amount of clouds will be up in the sky throughout the day with highs of 15 Celsius. And finishing off with good news, Canada and parts of the U.S. could possibly see the northern lights tonight and tomorrow.
Earth is under a severe geomagnetic storm watch today and tomorrow. NOAA has issued its warning after an outburst from the sun was detected earlier this week. A solar storm can disrupt power and radio signals. Electrical operators and space companies have been warned they could be impacted, and it could cause northern lights as far south as the Midwest and northern California. This geomagnetic storm. Earth is under a severe geomagnetic storm watch today and tomorrow. NOAA has issued its warning after an outburst from the sun.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Do you have any idea what that sound was?
That's cold.
Well, you're about to find out.
Welcome to the Chill and Thrive podcast. I am Vivek Nakra.
And I'm Jacob Fraser. And this episode is called Ice and Heat Health Tour. So, I started using ice baths, also known as cold plunges, well over 10 years ago now. This was something that I started doing while I was playing hockey. I was playing at a hockey academy on Vancouver Island, and in our trainer's room of our facilities, we had 2 cold tubs. And I wasn't super interested in it at first because, well, I mean, who really wants to get in a big tub of ice water? But once I started, I couldn't stop. This is something that I've continued to do habitually, even now after being a few years removed from my hockey career. Saunas weren't something I used often, but I started that within the last couple years now. And pairing the two of them just is kind of the perfect way for me to start my day. I always start with a sauna first now, and then after I'm out of the sauna, I'll hop in the ice bath and let my body heat up naturally afterwards, since apparently from what I've heard that burns a ton of calories. And then once I'm done that, I'm kind of feeling great, ready to go, and feeling invincible. Vivek, I know you don't have as much experience in this space as I do, but why don't you share a little bit of your background in just saunas, cold plunging, whatever your background is in that?
That sounds interesting. I haven't used it yet, but after listening to you, I'm really excited to try it once. I have also heard about the benefits of ice bath and sauna from different experts, as it is all over social media now. And I have seen people recovering from injuries or overcoming their stress by using it often.
Yeah, it's definitely become a lot more trendier on social media and things like that, like you said. I know in your research you found a little bit about the history about cold plunging and the treatments. Could you share that with us just briefly?
The history of cold plunges and saunas goes back to at least the 5th century BC. For health reasons, the ancient Egyptians, Romans, and Greeks all regularly took cold baths. As saunas came to be mixed into these cultures, one sort of followed the other. This sort of hot-cold plunge has also been incorporated into ancient Chinese medicine.
That's really interesting. I always was under the impression that it came from Scandinavia, but it's interesting to learn that it comes from ancient Greek and Egypt. That's really cool. You mentioned it's practiced in ancient Chinese medicine as well. Let's transition that into our first interviewee. We got a chance to speak with a couple of medical professionals today. So we'll share a few of the things that they had to say about just the benefits of using cold plunging and saunas for people's health. The first person we're going to hear from is Kim Cormack. Kim is a athletic therapist at Simon Fraser University, and we're going to hear what she thinks about the practice of cold plunging and the use of saunas.
In my practice, I just encourage our athletes to basically use exercise as the best way to recover from like a hard training session or anything like that where your muscles are really sore. And then as far as using cryo or thermotherapy with cold plunges or saunas, that's kind of, from what my understanding is, there's not a lot of research out there to prove that either of them promote quicker recovery than just exercise, if that makes any sense.
It was really interesting to hear Kim talk about how there is such a lack of research in the space of cold plunging and saunas and whether or not it really is beneficial for your health, because that was something that I had found as well when trying to do research for this episode. But we did talk to another personal trainer, kinesiologist, Jaden Graywall, who will join us now and share his opinion on whether or not it is beneficial.
Regular sauna use can help enhance fitness recovery by increasing circulation and aiding in muscle relaxation. Cold plunge therapy can also complement this by improving blood flow, reducing inflammation, and speeding up muscle recovery as well, making it ideal after intense workouts.
It's really interesting to me to hear the two different point of views from two different medical professionals. Both are kinesiologists, both work in athletic therapy, and they both have opposing views on whether or not it is beneficial. So I found that to be really interesting, and definitely there needs to be more research done into the fact of whether or not it is beneficial. Next up, I'll be taking you guys through my personal sauna and cold plunge routine. So I hope you enjoy learning how I do things. All right, it's about to head into the sauna here. We've got it up to about 80 or 90 degrees, so I'm not going to be able to bring my microphone in there, but I'll let you know how it goes afterwards. Okay, so we just finished up our 15 minutes in the sauna there. It was really, really hot, and I'm really, really sweaty. And now we're just about to jump into the ice bath. So right now we're filling up the 5-gallon buckets of ice. We've got 3 of them, so we're going to be adding 15 gallons of ice to our ice bath today. So right now we are filling up the ice bath with the ice. The water's under 12 degrees. And yeah, we're about to hop in. We'll see how it goes. That's cold. Alright, just sitting in the ice bath right now. It is, let's see what the temperature's at. It's a little below 10 degrees at about 8 degrees right now. It's pretty chilly. Never really gets easier. The feet's the worst part of it, but feels good at the end. Alright, just getting out. Getting out's kind of the worst part, just because you're still feeling numb, but also the cold air from outside is on me right now. It's about 12 degrees outside, so getting out of a 8-degree tub and then getting the cool breeze of the 12-degree air, it's a little chilly. Now it's just time for a quick shower and get on with the episode.
It sounds like you had a chill time. Now I can't wait to try it once. Now we are joined by our guest speaker, Yari Chen, who often uses this cold plunge after his intense physical workouts.
Well, it's definitely uncomfortable. That's one of the downsides. I guess it could be a benefit as well if you're looking to push yourself to do uncomfortable things. I would say some of the benefits that I've noticed are increased wakefulness. You definitely feel very awake after getting in the cold water. There are just general feelings of boosted happiness, I guess, after the cold plunge and sauna. Some of the benefits that I've heard of but haven't personally experienced are things like increase in immune system health, and also boosted mood.
Thank you, Yari, for sharing your experience with us with your cold plunging and sauna. I hope you continue to do it, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. Now, let's break down some of the stats behind the benefits of saunas and cold plunges. According to research done by the Massachusetts General Hospital, some of the benefits that come with using saunas include detoxification, which is sweating out toxins and heavy metals from your body, which cleanse the skin and flush out impurities. Relaxation is another one. The use of saunas can reduce stress and improve sleep since it increases circulation and releases endorphins into your body. Along with the improved circulation, the heat can actually alleviate pain and reduce inflammation. And saunas also provide an overall boost to your immune system, as Yari was saying, by increasing white blood cells. As for the cold plunging benefits, they do have a similar effect as the sauna, such as improving circulation and accelerating your muscle recovery, which is why it is widely used by high-performance athletes. But cold plunging also gives your immune system a similar boost because the temperature stimulates the immune system and has an overall effect on mental alertness and promotes mental clarity. Now, Vivek, you had done some more
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.